To change to a ballpoint needle, loosen the needle screw until a needle will slide easily out of the machine needle shaft. Slide the new ballpoint needle up into the machine needle shaft until it reaches the top. The flat side of the needle shaft should be at the back of the machine. Retighten the screw just until it is secure, as over-tightening will damage the machine. To ensure proper grip of the fabric, you will want to increase the pressure of the presser foot against the feed dogs. When sewing a stretch seam, begin with stitch selection B, length 3. Take a few stitches, then backstitch over the edge, and continue sewing to your original starting point. Change the length now to stretch. Sew the length of the seam using the stretch stitch, and remember, do not backstitch at the end of the seam. Beginning on stitch length 3 will help prevent the fabric from being sucked down into the machine at the edge, which will create a knot. Once you have gotten beyond the edge, switch to the stretch stitch for maximum stretch of the seam. When sewing with the stretch stitch, there is no need to stretch the fabric while sewing. The stitch itself is designed to stretch with the fabric as needed. Always test the stretch stitch on your fabric before beginning your project. This way, if the fabric doesn't respond well to the stretch stitch, you can always keep your stitch on length 3 and stretch slightly as you sew to ensure adequate seam stretch. The serger sews a seam, cuts the allowance, and finishes the edge all in one step. Sergers are harder to thread, but make the construction process faster and neater. When using the serger for this project, the seam allowance edge should be lined up with the 1/2 inch line. It is important to stay on this line and sew evenly so you don't cross over your previously sewn seam. You must be very careful as you use the serger, as the edge cutter moves fast and can easily cut you if you are not aware of where your fingers are in relation to the cutter. If you don't have access to a serger, the edge of your knit can be finished on your regular machine using a zigzag stitch, with the length set to 3, selection set to zigzag, and width set to 5. When sewing the zigzag, the right edge of the stitch should be at the right edge of the fabric without going off of the fabric. There is no need to backstitch at the beginning or the ending of this stitch. When you reach the end, be aware of any bunching that may occur and fix it before finishing.